Just as God sent a pastor here for such a time as this, He's going to send another man for such a time as this. But I would like to discuss with you a little bit about the process. People may ask, who may vote? How do I vote? The book I have here is the Church of God Minutes. This book is a Church of God book of discipline, church order, and governance of the book of the church. As Pastor said, next Sunday we're going to have our first candidate show up here at the church. He will preach on Sunday, and then the following Sunday another candidate will come. Once the candidates have all preached, it's after that point that at our church we will pull a vote. You don't vote right after each candidate. You may ask who may vote. The Church of God Minutes says a faithful tithe-paying member. And on the ballot it says name of the church, which you will put down. It says, are you a member of this local church? You will answer yes or no. Do you attend services regularly? Yes or no. And do you pay tithes regularly to this church? Then you will sign the bottom, and when we pull our vote, the votes will be counted by myself and the church council. During the time that the candidates come here, I know currently we do a live feed for Facebook and such social media. That will be suspended until after all the candidates have came and preached. We will record off the camera back there, which will be for our church page, but that will not be put on the page until after our candidate is selected. The reason why we don't want this on social media, that also means that after a candidate is preached, don't go home and go, Pastor so-and-so from wherever preached an awesome service. The reason is because that pastor may be currently pastoring a church that they're coming from. In their church, he may get hurt, or his church may get hurt, knowing that they're out there possibly trying out for another church. Just like you don't tell your boss, hey, I'll be off tomorrow because I'm going to go interview for another job. We just don't do that. So there will be no Facebook Live services. I ask that no social media comments on Facebook or any other way be put out there. And I also ask that nobody attempt to videotape with your phone in the seats the service that's going to take place here. Because this is a personal in-house thing that we're going to do. We'd like to also ask that you do not attempt to contact any of the candidates once they've preached here to ask them any questions. After they have preached, we will set up a time for you to ask questions. All right? I ask that if you do have a question, instead of them being bombarded, get the questions to either Cody or Wes over here. We will compile the questions, and on that day that the candidate speaks, we will ask the candidates. The candidates are well aware that there's a possibility that after they preach, they may be asked questions. Now, if you do happen to come up with something that you think may not be on the list, raise your hand and we'll deal with it at that time. But we're trying to keep it, the time limit down and pinpoint it on that. The Sunday following the last candidate will be the Sunday that we will pull a vote for the church. Okay? Amen? If you have any other questions, any comments, or anything you need, get in touch with me. Yes. But if you do have any questions regarding the process, or any questions that you would like to ask, the Church Elders Board, which consists of myself, Larry Stewart, Larry Mullins, and Richard Lance, we will be interviewing the candidates prior to them preaching Sunday morning. And after they preach Sunday, and we'll deal with all the questions that you may have. Amen? Is that clear? Everybody understand? But feel free to contact me, get a hold of me, for any questions to Cody or Wes over there, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. We'll write them down, and we'll make sure that questions get asked of the candidate.